What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Rachel West Experience. Today, I will be talking about my confessions. This is kind of hilarious because in my last video, I was talking about all of the, points of gratitude, positive aspects of 2020, all the things that I felt like we should be highlighting as far as looking at the good things that came out of last year. And now that we are here in 2021, I feel like I also just want to get real and talk about the things that are maybe not so great. Clearly, 2020 was a crazy year, and as much as it's nice to hold on to the positives and try to see the good in things, I also have some confessions, things that I feel like maybe I should just come out with. I don't know. So here we are. Let's go. Let's get into it. Confession number one. My eating habits have gotten significantly worse. I feel like I went into last year's lockdown with the idea of I'm going to try to eat pretty healthy. Yes, I did stock up on a crap load of top ramen, but aside from that, I really tried to buy a bunch of fresh fruits and vegetables when I would go to the store, because we used to only do grocery shopping like maybe once every 2 weeks, and I would just try to stock up on a bunch of stuff that was relatively good since I knew I wasn't going to be exercising or really moving much for that matter. And since then, let's just say that I have probably consumed more potato chips in the last 3 months than I have in the last 3 years. Around Christmas time, I definitely was going heavy on the sweets. I mean, I was baking, it seemed like a different batch of cookies like every week. Honestly, I didn't feel bad about it at all while I was eating it. I mean, ultimately, I think that you do have to take care of yourself however you need to. And for me, my sort of feel good, uh, what's the word, remedy, if you will, for all of the craziness was definitely indulging in foods that made me happy. So if you are one of those people who have put on the quote unquote COVID-19, I feel you, okay? My jeans are a little snug right now. Confession number two is, to be honest, I really don't miss a lot. I don't miss a lot of people. I don't miss a lot of interactions. I don't miss driving. But let's go back to the people that I don't miss. It's important that I clarify here because I love so many people and I am so fortunate to have some really great people in my life. That being said, I've just really gotten accustomed to not seeing people, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, I kind of like it. Like, I don't necessarily miss going to functions that much. I don't necessarily miss being around people all the time. I don't miss small talk. Like, a big part of my job as a songwriter is to sit and like get to know people, because of course if I'm going to write a song for you, I need to know about your life. And as much as that can be enjoyable at times, I also like not having to do it. It's just been nice not having to force a conversation. And I'm really good at, doing the small talk. However, it's just nice not to have to. And I think that limiting human contact has actually been very healthy for me. And yeah, I just don't miss that stuff. I really don't. I had mentioned that I don't miss driving. That is definitely confession number three. I do not miss leaving my house. And let me just talk about LA for a second. If you live in Los Angeles, then you know how crazy the traffic can be here and how awful it can be trying to get from point A to point B. And sometimes you'll be going literally like 2 miles and it might take you like a half an hour. That's how crazy traffic can be here. And so I have loved just kind of limiting my travel. I love that I don't have to spend a lot of time in the car, as much as like I don't necessarily mind spending time in the car. It's just been nice not having to commute anywhere. As a songwriter, I'm constantly going to studios and going all over the city for sessions. And so just to be able to work from home and do Zoom sessions and record things from home, it's just taken so much of the driving and travel time out that I feel like I actually have time for other things that I enjoy, such as Netflixing. All right, so I think we're on confession number four now. We're going to just say it's confession number four is I most certainly could not have gotten through this year without financial support. And I just want to put that out there because I just want to let people know that there is no shame in needing help. I just want to take away and kind of destigmatize this idea that you have to be totally self sufficient all the time. Sometimes you need help. And let me tell you, being in the state of a national pandemic, there has never been a time where I would say it's more acceptable to say, hey, I am not okay right now. Lean on the people that can help you. I mean, for me, definitely had to take advantage of unemployment for a little bit this year. I also had family members offering to help me financially and, providing me with kind of a personal loan until I was able to pay them back. And I just want to put that out there because it is a crazy, crazy time to be alive right now, and B, totally okay to just not be okay. I was fortunate enough to go back to work and be able to start making money again. But if you are still unemployed, figure out whatever resources you have and take advantage of those. And don't be afraid to take advantage because this is the time to do it. And I just want to say that I personally could not have gotten through last year without having people help me. Now to be able to pay those people back feels like a huge blessing. To be able to even save money feels like a huge blessing. And sometimes you just need a little lift. Sometimes you need somebody to lift you up, or you need the government to lift you up. So you do what you got to do. And that's just a real life confession. On top of that confession number 5 is kind of like a piggyback off of confession number 4. I think that especially as a young 20 something, we just have this idea in our minds of feeling like we need to have all of our, stuff together. And it's definitely not the case. I mean, I'd say majority of people that I know are still figuring it out. It is just, yeah. Confession number 6. I low key miss being in lockdown. And I know that we're basically back in lockdown anyways, but it doesn't feel the same as before. I don't know if you guys can relate, but I definitely feel like there's still quite a lot of people out and about at the beginning of 2020 when everything was first kind of just collapsing. It was so quiet, and everyone was also, I think, really nervous and really worried about everything. So everyone was that much more serious about staying at home. And I loved stay at home time. I thrived during those 3 months where we were not allowed to go anywhere. I loved it. I wasn't working, so there was some financial stress there. However, I just loved having all that alone time. If they were like, y'all, we need you to go back into heavy lockdown and stay inside, do not leave your house, stock up on your food and water, do not go anywhere, I would be here for it. I would be super down because that was my time. That was my comfort zone, and I loved it. But that brings me to my final confession, which is that I'm a little nervous about this year, you guys. I honestly am mostly just a little bit concerned about everything going back to normal. I don't even know if we can go back to normal at this point. It feels like we've just been dealing really and trying to figure things out, and at this point I think I've kind of adjusted to the slower paced and obviously more confined lifestyle that the pandemic has brought us, that the idea of trying to go back to hugging people, to going out in general, to I don't know, rubbing shoulders with people without a mask on. I'm just a little nervous. And I know we've got this vaccine coming. It's we don't know how soon we're going to get this vaccine. Obviously, 2020 proved to us that literally anything can happen and you just really can't even predict the future. And so I think the good news is that this last year proved to all of us that we are survivors, that we can get through it. And so that's something that I think we can hold on to at the very least. However, I don't know. I think there is part of me that kind of wishes we would stay in sort of a chill, slow paced zone. and not be thrown back into the crazy chaotic life that we had before. At least I had a crazy chaotic life, it feels like. Now I think and I'm like, wow, I was barely ever home. And I feel like that had just become totally normalized to me. And now that I've gotten to spend so much time at home, I'm like, man, I love my home time. I love my space. I love being able to be alone, to be honest. If we do quote unquote go back to normal, I think it's just gonna be another adjustment. And I'm a little nervous about it. Again, this is confessions, so I'm just being honest. But, we'll see. We'll see, honestly. That's the best that I can do. For now, we really do have a lot to be grateful for. And so I'm gonna let that be what it is. I feel like I've gotten some things off my chest. I've said what I needed to say. And hopefully you guys can relate to it. I hope I'm not the only one who feels this way and who is experiencing these things. I'm actually hoping that by doing this, that there will be people out there who feel maybe a little bit less alone and how they're feeling about everything. So if you guys like this video, make sure you go ahead and give it a little thumbs up. If you want to see more videos from me, make sure you click that little button that says subscribe. And until the next video, I hope you guys have a beautiful morning, day, night, wherever you are. And I will see you guys next time. Mwah.